The first video I ever did on this channel was a Coleman light. And today, that's exactly what we're looking at. Coleman battery guard flashlights. This is employing the SST70 emitter. And you can get it at any hardware store, Academy, Target, Walmart, anywhere. Coleman flashlights, or really for that matter, any camping store or tool store. This is a triple AA light. So it's running 3 AA batteries, which it includes. Now it has what is called battery guard technology. Battery guard technology is regulation and prevents battery drain when the light is off, aka parasitic drain. Power when you need it is the slogan. You can see I had to do horrendous abomination Hulk feats to get the package open. As usual, it comes with a 3-year limited warranty. But this light has a lot going for it, I think, for a store-bought light. First of all, one of the things that I think all manufacturers can learn from is the fact that the front here is rubber. It feels like a mallet, like a rubber mallet. It has a complete bounce. It doesn't feel like you're going to break it or scratch it, and that to me is a big deal because you don't want to be in a situation where you feel like you're scratching it up every time it touches the tail. Of course, the light does tail stand, and the bottom part is also very, very rubbery. And we're talking like iPhone 4 cell phone case rubber, like back in the day when the OtterBox had a really bouncy, much grippier than all the ones today. Here's the battery carrier, and it's standard series where it is, it's just running basic batteries. I'm wondering if you could get to fit in there a larger cell, like a 32650 or something like that. Battery goes back in, and the cap goes back on. And there is some moderate level of tension to it, but once you get it going, you have a light that is camping worthy. One of the things it doesn't have is anti-roll. That's disappointing. Now, this boasts 350 meters. We're going to take it out and test it, and 300 lumens. So you're not looking at a lot of output here because this is a store-bought light. This is another giveaway light. It is another emergency light. It's not going to really be anything to write home about, but it does have 2 modes, and of course it has the old school switch. I don't know why they did this, but that is the low mode, and I think that's 40 lumens or so. I think it's less than that, but and then you've got 350 lumens, and it boasts 300 meters. So we're going to go see how well this actually performs when it gets dark. So stay tuned. Stupid, worthless panther. What are you up to? You can see he's got a gland problem and eats quite a bit. Puts on a lot of weight. You're stupid. You made my grocery bill more expensive. He's a fluffy, furry thing. Stupid.
Did he pose for that? No, it was taken secretly. Ah, so this is why you go to the dog park. Yeah, to find you a boyfriend. You trying to find me a man's or a dog? Or a dog with a man's? Oh, or a man's with a dog, because that's the kind I like. Imagine your mom trying to find someone for you. Or your mom going up to random dudes like, Hi, I have a daughter, she's single. She's never had a boyfriend. boyfriend before. Will you date her? Like.
And so we begin again. When I did that first video on this channel, first video ever, with that Coleman, I had already been wanting the TK40 with the MCE emitter, which at the time I couldn't afford. I was only making like $31,000 a year, so I was barely above the poverty line. And I found that Coleman MCE with 500 lumens. And this is in actuality probably about the same in output, but I've always been fond of Coleman as a store-bought brand. I have a number of theirs. I'm going to probably do some of my older lights at some point, just because. So as we can see this, you've got 3 AAs, and I'm running what the package had in them for very modest output. I need to confirm which emitter this has. It does appear to have an SST70, and if that's the case, then of course this is driven very, very lightly with only 3 or so volts. So of course this could way be driven harder, but this is very good range. It has a hazy beam with a noticeable hotspot, very pronounced hotspot, but still within the realm of a humble thrower. Of course, you have to ask yourself, when you're dealing with store-bought lights, stuff that you can just go out and buy, your standards are admittedly going to be very low. In this case, this isn't much, but there is still something enjoyable about going back in time and downscaling to when 300 lumens was a whole lot of light. I'd say the useful range of this is about 180 meters. So it certainly doesn't compete even with EDC tactical lights today with newer and better emitters that are driven properly. There is a 750 lumen version of this with a longer range, but it is much, much bigger. It's twice the size, which to me would kill what little appeal this might even have right now. So, and you have to ask yourself, what is more appealing to you? Is it the ergonomics of a light, the handiness of a light, the UI functionality, or the brightness and beam performance? And I think if you're honest, you're going to realize it's a combination, because there's a lot of lights that you have, if you're watching this channel, that you must admit are toys. They are things that you love to play with because they offer a nice shiny beam, but maybe they stay on the shelf because they're harder, they're bigger, or maybe they have a terrible UI and you just don't like to go through with it. So the real holy grail of choosing your flashlights comes back to just a couple of things, and one of them is the UI. It is amazing how much the size of a die will lower the brightness intensity of a flashlight. If it's a small emitter, it will look brighter. And you have to see that in practice over and over again. And you look back at your lights and you say, wow, this doesn't look as bright. When in fact, it might be brighter than some of your longer throwing lights. In this case, this thing is so tame. And yet, if I point it at the ground, you can see that it is putting out a few more lumens than your normal pocket light. Something like with a 1AA or 1 AAA, but it's spread out, so the intensity will always be tame by comparison. This is guaranteed not to piss anybody off. Yep, this is a light made with Granny in mind, and it's crazy to think that there are still people in the world, and a whole lot of them, who just use a flashlight when it is needed. Crazy, right?